Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. So, how's everything going for you guys? I saw you guys just recently played at MMRBQ. How was that?
Yes. It was awesome, actually. It was, it's weird because it's like our like hometown radio station, and it was like my first concert ever. Like when I was a kid, like that
Ah,
MMRBQ was like my first concert ever. So like having that be like a concert that we played was just like beyond amazing. So
yeah, I guess that's what they call coming full circle or something like that.
exactly, yes.
Yeah, I was looking at the lineup. Some really cool bands. Like I think I saw Royal Blood was on there.
Yes, they were, and they were like, like they're walking through the hallways and like, stuff like that. Like I didn't like really get to talk to them, but like they just like, oozed coolness, which is exactly kind of how I felt that they would be. Um,
Exactly.
but like, they sounded amazing. Like like I really got into them during like Lights Out, like the song Lights Out. So like just being able to like see them now is just like mind blowing.
Yeah, yeah, I love their song "Figure It Out." It's so catchy.
Yes, yes.
But what also is catchy is Flesh and Bone, your guys' new single. It's like
Yes,
adrenaline boosting, melodic, but heavy, but it's also what you guys consider a personal song, right?
yes, and it was so crazy because that song took on so many different forms as we were like doing it. Like it was one of like the first times. So one of our guitarists, Chris Kelly, is in Nice Nine Kills. So he was away, and we've been working on the song for like months, and back and forth, and like I would record it here, kind of in my like basement, and then send it over to him, and then like he would do some adjustments with Ricky, the other guitarist, and we were back and forth, and there was like a little contention in the middle of like doing it because like I had like this thought and he had this thought, and it wasn't until like when we were like really finishing the song, I went to Ricky's house and met up with Chris and Ricky, and we really sat down with like kind of where we were at, and then it just kind of snapped into place. And like Chris really had a very clear vision with the song. It was kind of like his baby in the beginning of building it, and like just getting there, like we're so excited about how it came out because it was such a like a testament to like the story that we wanted to tell. Was so important about like just being human, in the grand scheme of things, and like just trying your hardest, and taking your licks and all those kind of things,
Yeah,
and like just realizing like at the end of the day, like you could do all that you can and still be human at the end, and maybe it not work out, and like kind of displaying that song in like a upbeat and still driving manner where it's like it's okay to like not win in the end, like it just that is the human experience, and telling that story well without being a bummer about it, and so like it was like so important to get that to that point, and we're just so excited that like we feel like it did at that end.
yeah. The song seems to be doing really well, and especially the music video. I have to say the video, I think, really conveys the message that you're trying to put across.
Yes, thank you. We got really lucky. We worked with an unbelievable director. His name's Tom Flynn, um, and he just kind of like it was funny. Like we had like a interview with him, like beforehand. Like we sat down and we were like talking about it, and we were like, we don't want it to be too violent. It was just going to be this and that. And then like a buddy of mine, I was telling him kind of the idea of the song and like the music video. He was like, I have like this AR-15 looking like pellet gun type thing, airsoft gun. If you're, because I'm not a gun guy, and so he was like, like I have this if you want to borrow it. And like we got to the shoot, and I opened it up, and he was like, so this is going to be a violent music video. Like this has made it. And so like we had a lot of fun with it, like kind of going around and having this kind of Mad Max army vibe, and we just really got lucky. The spot was incredible, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, like a good director will do that for you. It'll take kind of your vision and see what you bring to the table, and really kind of just run away with it.
Yeah, and was there a scene that you really enjoyed filming, or was something that really stood out to you?
Yes, actually, so the scene where the one of the second to last fight scene, where like we're kind of getting thrown up against like the trucks and stuff like that. The bassist Matt and I, like, we kind of talked about it, like, he was like, "Look, I'm gonna walk up," and then we're like, "I don't know, we can jump on these couple things," and we were like really concerned about hurting one another, like we're friends, and so I was like, "Can I bash your head in?" Like, and he was just like, "Yeah, yeah." And so I was wearing gloves that kind of had like padding on the back. I was like, "Look, I'll use that kind of as a buffer." And so like we were really able to kind of like give it our all in that, because like when I'm going back, I had like the chest plate and stuff on, so like that kind of got me, protected me. And then like when he came in, it protected, when I'm hitting his head, it protected him. And so like it was like the best scene, because we were like, all right, we're ready on three, we're just gonna beat the crap out of each other, and like, like, if you know us personally, like that's just not our personalities. And so we had like a lot of fun doing that, and like everybody around was like, "Oh my God, like that was amazing," so it was a lot of fun.
So you gotta play like a little character outside of
Yeah.
yourself.
Yes, exactly. We were just like, all right, let's just do it. Let's just, throw each other up against like, these vehicles and just like let it happen. So,
Oh, that's fun.
yeah.
I'll have to go back and watch that scene again.
Yeah, it's like it's right before, the end scene where I get kind of killed. It's the one that I, get him before that. So he's wearing the all black and the leather coat. So
What did you guys use for the fake blood?
we use like a fake blood. We had a
Okay.
makeup artist. We had a makeup artist on set. Her name was Alana. She was phenomenal. And she has her own channel. I should look it up if I'll be rude real quick, but just to give her the proper cred here.
Yeah, 'cause it
Um,
looked real, so I'm assuming it was something that professionals use.
Yeah, so her name is Alana Rose, and it's Alana underscore Rose underscore FX. She's a makeup artist, and she does phenomenal work. And so she was just like, "Look, I have this fake blood. It's gonna taste horrible," And I was like, "All right, let's do it." And it did taste horrible, but like, it's just worth using the authentic, fake blood for that kind of thing. It's one of the biggest things that we were concerned about, especially when you're doing something that's um, military based, or just that kind of scenes. Like, you don't want to come off campy, and you don't want it to come off like funny when you're dealing with these scenarios,
Mhm.
because it's such a serious song. So like every moment that we did it, we made sure that there was a tint of authentication in it, like just the way that I held my weapon. I made sure that people that I know, that I have a lot of friends that are police officers and things like that, is like, I made sure that I understood how to hold the weapon correctly, and gave it that kind of authentic feel to it, because like those things like matter, especially to people who like, a Mad Max kind of thing, or like a military kind of thing, like, coming off campy or cheesy, or not knowing how to hold a weapon. And again, when you go into the makeup, like, it's just very important that those things really do come off, authentic and real.
Yeah, that way you're not being like insensitive to, people who are in that field or who have gone through that experience.
Right, right,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, you never want somebody to turn around and go like, "Oh, these guys, like, what, they don't know how to hold the weapon." Like, yeah, I really believe it. Like, there's one comment on one of the YouTubes of like, when the first kill, who's our drummer Bill, like, you can't. I had one of those like kind of like extendable knives, and like you can't see the knife in my hand, and so it just looks like I kind of just like punch him in the neck to death. And so like we crack up all the time, because somebody comments, he's like, "I love when the lead guy punches somebody in the neck to death," and we laugh, because it's like, yeah, that one was on us, like not showing the knife correctly, and like everybody will see those things, but it's so funny, like the little details people pick out.
Hmm. That is true. And I actually saw another comment, where people said the song gave them, was it third day grace or I hope I'm saying that
3 days grace. Yeah,
3
3
days
days
grace.
grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, those comparisons? And I think
Um,
another person said Breaking Benjamin.
Honestly, like that is phenomenal for us. When we set out to make this band, our thought was like, well, what's the space we want to be in? Like what bands do we want to emulate without like, copying them, but like these are tried and true bands, right? 3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin, Shinedown, Beartooth. Those are the bands that we looked at and we went, if we can be in that world, right, that would be just phenomenal, and so like when people hear our songs and they go, wow, that's, you really sound like the guy from 3 Days Grace, or you really give me a Breaking Benjamin vibe, you go, thank you, that's exactly what we wanted, like, so it's really like really a big deal, and like an awesome turn of events when you see people, especially people that we don't know, who just found us on YouTube to give us those compliments. It's huge. It's really a big deal.
Absolutely, because those are awesome bands. So
Yeah,
it's good to
exactly.
be in
Look,
their company.
if we could have a tenth of their fame, I would, be just over the moon. So like, being in that company is good company to be in.
Yeah, and you're going to be in good company on June 2nd when you guys open for Lit. How excited are you for that?
That is like the coolest experience, that like I'm so excited for it. Uh, it what's so cool about it is it's a two-band show, right? So it's us and then Lit. And to be that close to a band, My Own Worst Enemy, like that
I
was
know that song is awesome. It takes
that
me
that was my
back.
yeah, that was my childhood. And like these are guys that have done it for years, right? They're still putting out music. Like they just did one with I'm gonna kill her name, and my band makes fun of me all the time. I think it's Dynamite, but they did, American Dream with Dynamite, who's an upcoming artist who just toured with Shinedown. Like that, these are guys that have done it forever and just putting out good song after good song after good song, and you're just like, I get to be on the stage with them right before them. That's wild, and it's a hometown show. I live in Millville, so like it's literally down the street from me. So like, being able to have that in the local theater, it's a gorgeous theater, and play with those guys. I'm so excited. It's beyond excited.
Oh, no, it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's awesome that, a lot of these bands from our childhood are, still on the road and, letting us relive those days.
Well, especially because, like, I believe, rock music has been up and down recently. Like, if you talk to a lot of people, like, oh, rock, you're in rock, like, oh, that's dying, and I don't believe that, right? Like, what I think happened, right? Like, especially with COVID, rock music is so important to see it live, right? Like, there's nothing like the feeling of a rock concert, right? Like, all the TikTok artists and the Spotify artists are putting out amazing music, but I don't know how much that translate to a live show, right?
Mm.
If you really want a live show, right, a rock show, there's nothing like it. And so like these bands that have been doing it for years, that are now coming out with new music and are still able to come out and like, Lit's gonna play My Own Worst Enemy. I'm sure of it, right?
Oh
But
yeah.
they're going to promote their new music, and it's going to feel like you didn't lose a step. It's going to feel like it's modern. It's going to feel like it's real. And again, there's nothing like that rock concert, And so like, those bands to still keep going, especially the bands that we emulate, try to emulate, like having that opportunity to hopefully one day be able to play with the Breaking Benjamins or the 3 Days Graces, like that'll be like, that is like so cool to still have that opportunity to do.
Oh, definitely. No, I think rock is here to stay, and there's a lot of cool festivals coming up. So I think that's
Yeah,
a great way for new rock bands to get their name out there.
yeah, and that's what was so great about the Ham and Barbecue, right? Like, where else are you going to be able to say that you were able to play with, Disturbed and The Pretty Reckless and Royal Blood and like Crowbots is one of my favorites. Living Color, Loka Kani, like all these genres. Lilith Czar was unreal, right? Like, and she was a pop artist before, and now she's doing this and she's killing it, right? And so like being able to play with these things and these bands, especially like women fronted rock bands are really big right now, and it's like the coolest movement for rock and roll, right? Like, why wasn't rock and roll so inclusive with women as well, right? Like, I'm so excited to have, these women-led rock bands kind of leading the way right now, and like, I'm for it. I like rock music is such an awesome genre, and I'm so excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's an exciting time for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I kind of going back to live music. What would you say is the best rock concert you ever went to as a fan? I know
Ooh.
you mentioned your first one, but is there another one that really stands out?
Yeah, honestly, it's got to be Coheed. I saw them. It's now called the Franklin Center, but it was called the Electric Factory when I saw them. And I'm not a guy that likes to get like shoved around and stuff like that. So I just had turned 21, and I was able to kind of go up into the seated area, and I got the seat that was like right in the middle. And I got to see everything and here I was like right behind the sound guy, so I heard everything perfectly. And it was like electrifying. I love Coheed, so having that experience where I got to sit there and just take it in and just watch it for everything that it was in the perfect spot for the perfect sound. It was just Coheed all the time. I will always say it was the perfect concert for me.
Oh, that's awesome. I've never seen them in concert. That's I need to make that
Uh,
happen.
You have to. They're unreal. Like Claudio sounds like he's a vocalist that like obviously like I don't sound anything like Claudio, but if I ever got to work with Claudio, it would be like the best day of my life because like he's just one of the most amazing vocalists I've ever heard. So
Well, maybe one day it will happen.
fingers crossed. Yes.
Yeah, right. Well, before we wrap up, is there anything else that people should be on the lookout for?
Right now it's just our upcoming shows. With you mentioned Lit on June 2nd. We're also playing at the Legendary Dobbs on June 11th. That's in Philly on South Street. That one's a really cool show. We should have some more music coming out in the next couple months. So usually we try to get something going every 3 to 4 months, something like that. But besides that, like that's what we're gonna keep doing. Follow us on like if you go to our link tree, that's linktr.ee/Huxley band. It brings you to everything, and we keep that up to date. So anytime a new song comes out or new shows, we always have our ticket links right there. So you always can stay up to date if you check that link tree every once in a while, as well as our social medias.
Oh, very cool. Well, I'm excited for you guys and loving the new music. So can't wait to hear what else you have in the pipeline.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, we got some coming up, so definitely keep a lookout. And next couple months, you should be seeing some hints to new music coming out soon. So
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Doug, for chatting.
yeah, thanks so much for having me. This was awesome.